Del Rio, Texas. Rob Wade and Robert Garza. Two guys who dive. This episode of Two Guys Who Dive, recorded Sunday, 24 June, 2012. Episode 21, Balmorhea. And here we are once again with another weekly podcast of Two Guys Who Dive. I'm your host, Robert Wade, and to my immediate left, your right, is...
Robert Garza.
Hey. So, had to go solo last week. So, what's up with that, man?
Actually, I have family in from San Diego.
San Diego.
Yeah, you know, he hadn't been here in the last 4 years, so he kind of just decided, hey, I'm going to show up.
Wait, so who just shows up from another part of the country? I just thought I'd pop over.
Yeah, I'd just say hello. No, you know, it's actually been a joy seeing him, having him here. It's good to always see family, seeing, you know, everyone light up, you know.
Wait a minute. Wait. What do you mean light up?
Well, I mean, you know, when you haven't seen someone in 4 years.
That creates a connotation, you know, that's...
Well, when you haven't seen someone in 4 years, you know, brothers and sisters, moms, they kind of, oh, you know, mijo, it's good to see you.
Right,
and,
right.
you know, everybody just kind of, you know, shows up. And then we actually had to postpone yesterday's because I was actually busy doing a little side job for a friend.
So, why don't you explain a little bit about that?
Well,
since it did cause a postponing of our podcast.
Yeah, the podcast.
Today.
Yeah, we'll blame Leanne, Deanne. I'm sorry, Deanne.
Whose daughter and husband were former students.
Exactly, Haley and what's the Doug. Yeah. You know, I've only spoken with him a couple of times, but well, she kind of approached me. Well, she had her daughter Haley. Right. Approached me during the before the end of school was out, that if I was interested in working a security job for her, and I was like, sure. You know, I gave her my number. She contacted me, and it was for her class reunion, class of '62, the Mooseheads. I just want to
wait a minute, what?
Yeah, the class of '62, the Mooseheads.
60? Wait a minute, class of '62?
I'm sorry, look at that. That's 82.
And the only reason I know that because they're about my age, so I was class of '80, so we just had.
No, okay, I'm sorry. That's just my dyslexia kicking in. It was class of '82.
You know,
82.
They would probably come over here and just beat
me down.
How dare you?
How dare you?
And other people are watching that.
Well, no, they look pretty good for being class of '62. Then.
No kidding. Yeah, that's
no,
awesome.
So it was their class reunion this past weekend, and I just wanted to say thank you for allowing me to be a part of that. It was actually very interesting, and seeing everybody just having fun. 30 years of, you know, being already have graduated. That those people, they look great.
Well, that's cool. So, so what was the whole deal? Was it Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or just Friday, Saturday?
I honestly, I don't know. I'm pretty sure they had something going on today.
Probably,
but
typically they do. There's a picnic.
Right, they do a picnic thing. But on Friday they had a big barbecue type thing. It was the first day. Everybody's showing up, you know, having fun with
right.
Did
you get an opportunity to pay attention to any of the details? You know, there's a lot of the contests that typically have, like, who's the farthest traveled, that kind of stuff.
No, actually, I was monitoring the entrance of the people coming in.
Right.
They were just concerned about kids. I didn't see I guess they had a rule to where, you know, youngsters weren't allowed. You know, they wanted to keep it just adults. So there was like only certain people were allowed to bring their kids, and
right.
Actually there was only two that ever went in. Of course, Haley was one of them.
Yeah,
her mom was one of the organizers, and
got special privileges.
Yeah, she got special privileges. Yeah. Her and her boyfriend got to come in, and that was pretty much it, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, so I just wanted to make sure everything was good and calm, and everything was. They were just having fun. It was good.
A lot of people attending, or
Yeah, there was quite a few people. I want to say there was over 100 people. Easy. I don't really know the exact number.
For a class that was probably a much larger class, even in the 80s for Del Rio, you would think there'd be a lot more people.
Yeah, I know it was over 100.
Yeah.
As far as numbers, I'm not really sure. But there was quite a few people there. It was interesting. It was good.
Wow. Well, that's cool. Well, so congratulations, class of 82.
Yes.
Almost as good as the class of 80. But the 30-year reunion is always kind of interesting. Of course, I helped organize ours, which is interesting. You know, we had people from out of town organizing our class reunion because I went to school through high school in Diamond, Missouri, which is a little town of about 300 or so people, just outside of Joplin. For those of you who might recognize that name, that's the city that was really devastated year before last with where was that last year with a tornado. It was. Joplin's not a stranger to tornadoes, but we certainly saw our share of those living in the area. But it reminded me of some of the aerials that I saw of Xenia, Ohio, because I was born in Dayton, Ohio, and we grew up in the New Carlisle, Fairborn, Dayton area, right where Wright-Patterson Air Force Base is. My middle brother was born in Xenia, and that town got hit by a tornado that literally went down the middle of the city, then actually spun off into two tornadoes that swung back and grabbed other parts of the city. I'm like, wow, that's like not even right.
No.
But so yeah, we held our actual reunions, our 10th and our 20th and our 30th. We actually held them in Joplin, so it was kind of weird going to the 30th reunion in 2010, and then less than a year later, seeing a lot of the areas that we were visiting, the park area that we had our picnic on Sunday, you know, being devastated by the tornado. You know,
was that where that picture where you're hanging on the flagpole sideways? Is that where that was taken?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
For those who've looked at my Facebook page, I have some pictures from my 10-year and my 30-year reunion. For some reason, I don't think I have a copy of the 20-year reunion, where I would go out there. I have this little thing that I do. It looks more impressive than it really is. The flagpole that we have in front of our school in Diamond, I would grab a hold of it and actually extend myself horizontally to it. So, which kind of makes for a neat effect. And it's kind of neat just to go, okay, let's see, 10 years out from high school, because I used to do it when I was in school. So 10 years out, I'm still able to do this. And 20 years out, I'm still able to do this. And 30 years out, I'm still able to do this. So if we have a 40th reunion, I'll have to get a picture of me. I'll be like, you'll probably see every muscle straining. Because I'll be almost 60 years old.
No, knowing you in the condition you're in, you'll probably be able to pull that out with one arm.
Oh yeah, right. I'm able to do it with the way I am, but I couldn't do the extended arm thing like you see the gymnasts do. That's insane.
Oh, where they show like they're walking up.
Well, no,
crazy.
where they are able to grab a hold with their hands and just stiff arm hold themselves vertically.
Yeah, sideways.
Because I do it basically, it's all upper arm. It's not the arms itself, but that's kind of a neat thing to do. I enjoyed my class reunion, so hopefully the kids from 1982 enjoyed theirs. Now, interesting little backstory for Deanne. Her brother, Steve, was in the band Caught in the Act, which Tara and I were both part of back in the 80s. So she actually got some footage of our last, back in that day, Del Rio used to have annual Battle of the Bands.
Yeah, my uncle used to play he was a drummer for Sawdust.
Oh, our arch rivals, man. I'll be honest with you right now, I hated Sawdust.
Yeah, you guys were always going at it.
Yeah, it's always stiff competition. But we won the 90 or 87, 88, and 89 Battle of the Bands. And she got a video of the '89 one, so it was kind of neat because that was the first one that Tara was actually part of, because we had Cindy Hansen as our female vocalist in the band, and then Steve, and then we had the brothers Jimmy and Mickey Hunkin, and then myself. So a lot of history there, and then so it was kind of just neat, Here years later, I ended up teaching her daughter how to scuba dive, which was pretty cool. Yeah. It just shows you, you never know the kind of people you're going to run into and how you'll be connected to that whole 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon thing that you run into when you get involved in these kinds of things. It's just community involvement, just in not being one of those people that sticks around your house all the time. That's just, that's for the birds. But last week was Father's Day. So did you have a good Father's Day?
Had a good Father's Day. It was everybody got together, in-laws and everybody.
Outlaws.
In-laws, outlaws, everyone.
Bylaws.
And then, like I mentioned, my brother-in-law's down from San Diego, so he was there. And
he's not one of the weird ones from San Diego, right?
He's in the Navy. And no, he's not weird. He's actually, I honestly, since
most of the Navy guys are cool.
I would have thought that he would have changed, being away from home already for a while now. He decided, I know he's going to go career.
Is he enlisted or officer?
No, he's enlisted.
Okay, yeah.
And so he's doing good. He was talking to us saying that he might be getting transferred to San Antonio to work at one of the Air Force bases there that actually has a post for the Navy. I'm not really sure which one it is.
There's so much joint basing going on now that I wouldn't be surprised.
So it's still kind of up in the air, but he did say that he might be, coming back to Texas, but I don't know. We'll see. I think it's going to be a culture shock for his wife, though.
Well, where is she from?
She's from the Philippines.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that would be kind of... that'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah, so, she's really cool. She makes awesome food, very spicy food, And she's come down a couple of times. She actually likes Del Rio. She likes Del Rio because it's calm and, relaxed compared to where they live.
We don't have volcanoes here.
Yeah. Calm compared to San Diego, to where everything is just,
right.
It's a big city, so it's up moving.
Because I've been to the Philippines. That's when Tara and I were in the Air Force. We were both part of the Air Force Tops in Blue Performing Showcase. If you've never seen them and get an opportunity to, because they do a number of stateside as well as overseas shows, by all means make an effort to go attend one of those performances. It's a musical variety, high energy, high tempo choreography, and fantastic vocals. Bands are awesome. The sets are great. And these are guys and girls who just have regular jobs in the Air Force, but they also have a musical talent that the Air Force is able to take advantage of and share with the country and the world. So we toured in 1986, and I was hoping it was a special message. No, we toured in 1986, 87, and of course, part of the tour was took us to the Philippines, so we got to go to Clark Air Force Base and John Hay, and even one of the Navy bases there, which was kind of cool. And I just remember how beautiful that country is. Mm-hmm. But of course, sitting at the foot of a volcano, and eventually, of course, I forget what year it was. Of course, they had the volcano finally said, "It's time to attack now. I'm going to spew my innards all over the place." And so Clark Air Force Base was kind of covered with a lot of stuff. So they obviously closed the base down. But yeah, that was interesting. So she likes the calmness of Del Rio. Can't say I have an issue with that, because that was one of the things I like. She
likes it. I mean, like I said, she didn't bash it like I thought she was going to. Like most people say, this town is horrible. There's nothing. You guys don't even have a Best Buy here. And
we're trying. We really are trying.
We're trying, but unfortunately the ranchers here, and we won't even get into that because Robert was...
I will jump on it. I will jump in it.
But anyway, no, but we'll see. Hopefully he can make it back to Texas and, a lot closer. Yeah, so we'll see how it goes.
Oh, cool. So,
and what did you do on that day?
Well, I was here.
You have a barbecue?
Slaving over. We did do a little bit of cooking, but the big thing was, of course, doing the podcast solo. Since I'm not a dad, other than, those who watched the podcast from last week, you saw the pictures that I put up. Of course, our two dads had Robert and Troy, so I threw the picture up there to congratulate you guys. But then, of course, I showed our fur kids, four of them, which we're dealing with a few. It's like any parent, you've got checking messages here. There's more stuff. Like any parent, you have kids that have issues you deal with. Well, our fur kids, they range in age from 19
to 105.
Yeah, 19 down to 2. So, and the old man Zeus, he's been dealing with a few health issues. I mean, the guy
there he goes right now.
Yeah, look at him. He's bald, or he's going bald.
I see that.
Yeah, he's got this weird dry skin situation. The vet says it's kind of like a dandruff or a psoriasis. No, seborrhea. Yeah, seborrhea, something like that, where it's like a chronic, but it happens sometimes in older dogs, where their immune system just kind of starts fighting against itself and literally is just fighting off upper layers of skin. So the hair comes off with it. So the poor guy is a wire-haired dachshund, and he looks like some old guy. I mean, that's where the hair is thinning, and it's like a little straggly part here.
Little chunks of hair,
like Fire Marshal Bill. It looks like
there you go.
The Fire Marshal Bill, a little tuft of hair here. But the guy gets around. I mean, he's just a little spaz, especially if you've got food, man. He's like, food, give me, jumping up and down. He's just crazy.
Yeah, he knows what you're talking about. He's right here.
Yep. He's nearly deaf, but it's amazing what he can selectively hear.
Fire
Marshal Bill. So, yeah, he's over there. He's invaded the studio here. So, poor guy. And then our second to the youngest, for those who looked at the picture last week, our black and tan smooth coat, who is 3 years old. He's a little bit overweight. He's not too bad, but with dachshunds, you always have to watch out. Yep. And he and Grace, our youngest one that's 2, play rough all the time. And Grace, as you see her, she is in excellent shape. I mean, she's got the perfect, the high hip and the deep brisket. So she really looks great, but she is 100% spaz. I mean, she's like on LSD or something. Yeah. But Ronan, the next one up, isn't quite as, he's more staid until he gets if Graza comes over and starts, okay, come on. And so he's like, bring it. So then they get into some heavy chasing and running around and wrestling and stuff. So, and when you're a little bit overweight and you're jumping up and down on things, there's a danger of messing the back up. So he kind of developed a little bit of back issues. So Tara took him into the vet to have him checked out. So he's basically been spending the weekend there. We just the vets here at Pat Martin's office, got to give a shout out to them. And the fine work that Dr. Farr has been doing with all of our dogs, but she's been calling every day over the weekend, just to give us a heads up. Say, hey, he's doing okay, he's getting better, and we're giving him a shot, and no issues. Here's some things we're looking for, and I mean, she's been really attentive. It's I like seeing doctors of any type, veterinarian or human. Taking that kind of interest where they are proactive. They don't get you to hound them, saying, "Hey, well, I just want to get an update because you're concerned." But,
Right.
Tara and I don't live in fear, but and so we trust in God and the vets to do what they need to do. And Dr. Farr's been doing a wonderful job, and so looks like he'll get another shot today or tomorrow, and then they want to keep him one more day. She said he's doing really good, and we'll probably be able to take him home tomorrow night. And she's like, okay, but keep him in restricted movement because we don't want to do the 2 steps forward, 1 step back kind of thing. So our little baby is, in the doctor, getting taken care of, but he's going to be fine, I'm sure. So, yeah, those are the trials of being a parent,
Yep.
Because how old's your oldest there?
My oldest is 10.
Golly.
Yep.
He's
ready. He's ready.
I was going to say, it's that time.
It's that time.
Does he have the right temperament for it, do you think?
He does. He does. The only thing is that his swimming is not all that great.
Yeah.
So because he wants to, it's important to learn how to swim. And, I've come to meet a lot of people that don't know how to swim. Either they just afraid of the water, they just haven't taken the time. Being the fact that the world is covered mostly with water, you need to learn how to swim. People.
I mean, all you got to do is talk to Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
Water world, it's coming.
It's coming.
When global warming takes over and all the ice packs melt and there's no land left, what are you going to do?
Look, it rained. It rained consistently for 4 days here in Texas, and we had the flood of '98.
That's right.
And that's just rain.
Yeah, no kidding. That's when you really, really wish you had some scuba gear and the skills to use it.
Exactly. But, regardless whether you get certified in scuba or not, it's good to know how to swim, because you just never know when you're going to find yourself in some body of water. And
Absolutely.
it's that peace of mind knowing that, well, if I fall in the water, I'll be okay.
Right.
But there's a lot of people that just, I don't know, they just haven't found the time to do it, And, well, my son is not a really good swimmer. Well, he doesn't know how to swim at all. But this summer, we're going to get him into classes,
Cool.
So that way he can overcome that. Because I think there's a bit of a fear there. So I just
definitely don't want to go at this kind of a thing with fear.
Right. So I don't want him to be afraid of the water because that's what he is. He sees large bodies of water and he kind of freaks out a little bit.
Okay.
So once we get that taken care of, I think he'll be ready. Yeah, definitely.
Also last week I took an opportunity to show some video from the trip to Balmorhea, and that's the title of the episode this week. We're going to just kind of talk generally about Balmorhea and what some of the benefits are. I've got a few still shots I want to put up too. You've been many times. I've been many times. We try to get as big a group as we can. It looks like we're going to have a pretty good size group, not necessarily of divers, but for the July trip. I've got a Troy and his wife. They're planning on coming up. Of course, Troy's certified. But we might be able to do a little Discover Scuba opportunities with some people. The Joneses also. Courtney, I think. Courtney Jones.
Yeah. She decided to go for it?
No, she's expressed interest, but I you never know if they're really serious. But of course, her parents are going to be going up, so we'll be doing the whole tent and trailer thing kind of stuff.
Nice,
so, but probably have an opportunity to do a little Discover Scuba with them. So that's going to be pretty nice. I like going with divers, definitely, but even the potential divers are good.
Yeah, Courtney. It reminds me of had a situation where they're at the high school, but I'm not even going to get into it, but it just reminded me.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
But, so are you thinking you might be able to make that trip or no?
If I don't make the July one, the month of August, I'm going to be off for 3 weeks straight. So the one in August, I'll be actually off that week. So if I don't make the one in July, I'll definitely make the one in August.
Well, definitely be cool if you can make the July one. I'd like to get as many divers going as possible.
What was the date for July again?
Weekend of the 13th. And so I'll be... I've kind of set it up this year. We've got our youth praise team at our church is far enough along that they can go the Sunday service okay, and so I've been taking the opportunity to let them kind of fly autopilot, so that way we don't have to drive. Typically, would drive up on a Friday and then have to come back late.
Yeah,
Saturday night, hated.
Yeah, you guys would leave around 8 o'clock or something, 7 o'clock in the evening on Saturday.
Yeah,
it was kind of
because you have to check out at noon or whatever it is, and so there's really not much other, maybe get a dive in or something, but then you pretty much have to hit the road. So it was nice this last trip to be able to spend one more night there and just kind of head back in the afternoon.
Yeah,
on Sunday, which was nice.
Yeah.
So so the weekend of the 13th, which why don't we just go ahead and put that up while we're talking about it. So, yeah, we got the weekend of the 13th of July, and then we also have a trip scheduled for the weekend of the 17th of August.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be the weekend of our Tara's and mine anniversary.
Ooh.
Yeah, 24 years.
Celebrating.
Almost the quarter century mark.
Now, I'm going to just assume, right, that there are no cabins available.
Yes, that would be a fair. Well, it never hurts to call,
right?
Because there are people that cancel, but and we do have cabin for that weekend. We don't for July, so that's where. But the neat thing about the camping spots, you can pretty much pack a lot of people in there.
You have a cabin for the August?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was the earliest we could get one. Oh. And this was scheduling this back in May.
Yeah.
The beginning of May, as a matter of fact. So so we got those 2 weekends up. The talking about the campsites, we had so many of the Boy Scout troops and church groups that were on Father's Day weekend up at Balmorhea. That was crazy. I mean, there were tents everywhere. They pull up with their BSA trailers. And they open those up, and then suddenly it's a tent city. Like a refugee camp. And here's what was so cool. Oh, real quick, so I can clear this screen. If you're interested in taking the basic scuba classes we have, you're too late to get into the end of June 1 because that's coming up here next weekend. But you can still get into the 26-29 July one. Looks like I may have a student already for that one. And 23-26 August. So anyway, there was an interesting, on Saturday night, one of the groups had a portable screen and projector, and they were watching a movie.
Cool.
So it was like a drive-in. I'm like at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, I'm traipsing across the campsites to the public restrooms there, and I'm like, hear this, and it was, it sounded like with a soundtrack, and I'm like, and then I look over through some of the little pavilions, and I see the backside of a screen, and they're watching a movie. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, this is supposed to be camping, and you're like,
but that's cool though. It's outside though. You take a portable projector and a screen, and you just have like, okay, anybody want to watch the movie? It's $5. $5.
I'm just waiting for the little popcorn stand to start out.
Hey,
let's go out to the lobby.
That's not a bad idea. But you did tell me though, and I'm kind of glad to hear it, that they finally opened up the little snack shack.
Yes.
Inside the park, because if you've never been there, you're very limited to where you can actually find food to eat. There are some places that do, there are little, I guess you want to call them like mom and pop restaurants within there. If not, if you want to go like, say, a McDonald's or somewhere, you're going to have to drive about an hour into Fort Stockton to eat, which is a trek in itself.
Not quite a Star Trek.
Not a Star Trek, but a good trek in itself. And so you're kind of restricted to whatever you bring, like for barbecues and things like that. I mean, you do find stores where you can buy ice to keep stuff fresh and cold, but it's kind of tough. But it's it's awesome that they actually opened that, because I was always wondering, well, you're walking out of the park and there's this huge thing to where you could tell it was a rental place or something.
Yeah.
But that is cool. So what's on the bill of fare there? What do they have?
Well, I think it was kind of done by like a booster group or something. So they're kind of using, I think, I could be wrong, I think they're using it as a way to raise money for various booster groups or sports activities or whatever. But I mean, they had pretty much the basic fare. They had, you could get hamburgers and hot dogs and sodas. Of course, they have a soda machine there. Mm-hmm. But the big thing was they were selling lots of the ice cream and those kind of frozen confectionaries.
You fell in love with an ice cream, didn't you?
Man. Bluebell Grizzlies. The perfect treat, man. It was awesome. I love malted anything. I even make my pancakes with malt.
Better than the Snickers ice cream?
Well, see, I'm allergic to nuts, dude.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
So anything's better than that.
Yeah,
where I'm concerned.
Well, that didn't sound right.
Yeah.
You looked at peanuts.
Yeah. But so they have a number of different things, but that was the thing. I was like, well, let's try it because it's chocolate on chocolate. It's got the hard chocolate shell, and it's got the malt stuff in it. I was like, oh, this is good. We had to really control ourselves. But, up until this past year, every time we've gone, there's been nothing there. It's just
it's always been closed. And, when you want the munchies or something, we'll bring...
No, who wants the munchies? But you just get them.
You get them. You burn a lot of calories when you're diving, especially,
Right.
It might feel weightless, but you're actually exerting your body a lot.
Right.
So when you get out, we would typically have,
mm-hmm.
the chips and the ham and the bread and everything.
Everything.
We have everything there, but it's good to sometimes kind of change it up a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to keep ice cream for very long at all in a cooler. It just
doesn't work.
No, we did have some lessons learned, though, coming out of that trip, by the way. And this might be benefit to a number of you folks, especially if you're divers going there. You want to make sure that you bring cash and checks. If you try to live with just a measly amount of cash and
debit card
and a debit card, not such a good idea. Thus begins the sad story of technology in West Texas. It was unbelievably sad. We got to Saturday and the ice had pretty much all melted in our cooler, and so we needed to get some more. And some of the stuff, another one of the lessons learned from when ice melts is you need everything in plastic, either a hard plastic container or like a Ziploc bag or something like that. Because if it's in cardboard or wrapped up in tinfoil, you're going to have soggy whatever when the ice melts. So lesson number one, don't put anything in a container that is not impervious to melted ice. So we ended up having to go into Balmorhea town, which is about the same size as Diamond, Missouri. And they have just a couple little small stores, like a mercantile, that kind of thing. So we go into the first one, and we're picking up a few things that we had to replace because they got soaked, and to pick up some more ice. We get to the counter, and we hand the girl working the counter, we hand her our debit card. Oh, I'm sorry, our credit card machine isn't working. What? No, I'm sorry, credit card machine wasn't working. Well, let me go ahead and try it. So she tries it, nothing. So then there's no ATM.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have checks? No. No cash? No. Well, there's another mercantile just on the other side of town. So we go there, and as soon as we walk up, there's a sign on the door saying, phone lines are down.
Oh, I see.
Cash only. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, so where's civilization? Did it all disappear? There's one line that goes to Balmorhea, and I think it's made out of speaker wire. and probably some guy in an extra large rig, probably one of the RVs that pulled through the park, clipped it or something. So we literally ended up driving all the way into Fort Stockton.
Oh.
Yeah, to get anything. And of course, everything was working fine there. So it was something that happened between Fort Stockton, and there is literally nothing between Fort Stockton and Balmorhea/Toyavale.
They're scenic.
It is.
It's very scenic, but that's it.
But there is nothing as far as civilization.
So much for fiber optic. Maybe somebody cut the line or something.
Oh, it was just ridiculous. There's seriously, there's only one way to get there. So, yeah, no redundancy. So I kind of posted that West Texas is a technological wasteland. That cellular phones are virtually indistinguishable from magic. To those people, you whip out a cell phone and they all cower back and go, "Ooh, what is that?" It's like fire, Oh, fire!
You're
he
in
controls
trouble.
fire.
You're in trouble. You get into the room and there's a rotary phone.
and he's not talking about the old where you push the finger into the. He's talking about the crank.
The one where you put the little thing to your.
Yeah.
Yes. I need a phone number, area code 512.
No, that was back in the day. I said, "This is
Southwestern
Stockton 427." I was like, "What?"
Oh gosh.
So okay. So we learned about that. That was an interesting lesson learned.
It's the way I would see it. Again, like he mentioned, it is way out there, and not to say that it isn't a nice place. You have to plan accordingly, and one of the things is that in order to get to civilization, it's an hour away.
Yep.
So you're pretty much it's kind of not so much roughing it, but you have to plan like you're camping, right. And you got to make sure that you got everything: lights, food, water, plenty of water to drink. Ice is like a commodity there.
Right.
Just things. Plenty of ice chests.
Yep.
Cash, because you just don't want to rely on credit cards only. Obviously, he had an issue.
Yikes.
So that bag of ice that he needed cost him, some gas plus.
No kidding. Frustration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on what was otherwise a nice weekend. We also learned we got to try out. I don't know if I told you this, but of course we did buy one of those 10x10 gazebo.
Oh, did you?
Full of things.
Uh-huh.
Of course, it's a tan one. It's nice, but I happened to come across finally
the Texas one.
The Texas one. So we brought that with us, and we had that set up, and that really was nice. And of course, there was a lot of them up around there, but. Lesson learned there: bring heavy-duty stakes.
Oh, because of the wind? Was it windy?
We got one of those little late afternoon showers that come through, and the wind kicked up and just blew that thing around like a little umbrella.
Oh gosh!
So poor Tara was dealing with that, which was kind of sad and interesting and funny all at the same time. So, you definitely want to have heavy-duty stakes to plant that thing in the ground. Get there early, get up early, and get a decent spot.
Right.
We got there, 8 o'clock, because the pool area, which is fenced, opens up at 8 o'clock, and already people, because there were so many groups for training there. That thing filled up quickly as far as taking all the picnic tables and that kind of thing. So if you think you're not going to have enough intestinal fortitude and self-initiative to get up early enough to get into the pool area early enough, bring your own little fold-up picnic table type thing, which Tara has one of those for her scrapbooking and craft stuff. So, if we thought that might be an issue, we might bring that, but... definitely want to get there early. Let me throw up a couple of pictures here.
Yeah. Let's see.
Not that picture.
Okay, that's a video, not a picture.
Let me drop that out. There was one picture I wanted to show that has a kind of a good view of some of the pool area proper. Here we go. Let's throw this one up. And hello. Expand it where people can see it. There we go. That's standing on the grassy side of the park area, looking across the pool area. That's where you see the little semi-covered spots there. That would be like at the bottom of the U shape for the Balmorhea Spring / pool. So if we're looking at this picture, if I were to look to my left, I really should have taken some more pictures of like panorama now that I've got this cool app.
Oh yeah, awesome phone and
it's got a really cool panorama app on it that does a good job. But just I hadn't had time to kind of play with it to get it down. But
start from one end of the park.
Yeah,
like
literally,
it would have been cool.
It is so neat. Now I've mastered it, but I just hadn't had time there. But if you were looking to the left of where this image is taken, the one side of the U would be coming up to where it's actually a concrete bottom. It's fairly shallow, so that's where the little kids would typically go. And if you're doing a scuba training course and need to do the pool work, that's where you would do that, is in that area. And then you literally just swim off the edge of the concrete into the open area, and you kind of can see the reflection of some of the flora, the underwater flora under there close to the camera range. Then keep wanting to do that.
The video just wants to come
I know it wants to come up. I still may throw some of that up there. There we go. Lovely. My dogs are barking. It sounds like what my dad used to say when his feet were tired. Hey, my dogs are barking. You never heard that?
No.
My dad.
My feet hurt. My dogs are barking.
My dogs are barking.
No, I never heard that.
I never knew where they came from. You know, he was from Missouri, so who knows. So here's just this is using the Intova IC10. For those of you who watch the show and a couple of the miss shots here of where the video wanted to pop back out, it does video and, of course, does still shots, 10 megapixels. And it does a pretty decent job. I don't know enough about photography in general, much less underwater photography, to really maximize what you can do with cameras. But I'm slowly but surely learning, because I'm finding that I really want to share more of this stuff, and having a podcast as an avenue to do it is just, it kind of begs to have that stuff. Mm-hmm. So here's a shot of what the natural bottom of the spring looks like, and like we've said before, this is 20 feet deep if you dig a hole, and there is a hole. It has a grate on it.
Yeah.
But this is one of the more common fish that you'll see there. Is I guess they're called pygmy cats or something like that, catfish. And all these fish are just so used to people. But because it's so shallow, the sunlight that shines in there, when it's not got silt kicked up from students, is actually very nice. It's really good if you get there on the Friday to jump in the water, get a dive in.
Yeah.
At least that afternoon, because you're not likely to run into students. So if you're a good diver already, the visibility is it's better even than this, and it's just gorgeous.
What we've done in the past is we try to drive up early on Friday. We'll get there, we'll get a dive in, before the sun goes down,
right,
and then kind of wait, and then we
do
go
a dusk dive.
Yeah, we do the dusk dive on Friday, and then we try to squeeze another one in on Saturday. So it's not too bad. Not too bad.
Well, one of my good friends, Lori Schifani, has jumped into the chat room. We'd like to welcome Lori. She's another former upstager. I've known her since she was in high school. And as a matter of fact, she used to be Latham.
Oh, I know her mom. I used to work with her mom at the sheriff's office.
Yeah. That's right.
Surely.
So she says thanks. And of course, she's actually got some stuff going too. She's got her own little, was it Dear Coffee? Yes. She's like, you're getting a free advertising here, girlfriend. So, you definitely, yes. I have scuba dived before. You have scuba dived before. Where have you scuba dived, Lori? See if she answers back on that. That's interesting. Of course, her husband is a pilot, and so I think they've probably had some great opportunities to go some cool places. San Marcos. Where is there to dive in San Marcos?
The spring. You can dive the spring.
Well, I know New Braunfels because that's where I got my instructor certification. But in college she did the college thing. I wonder if her husband Steve went to Lake in Austin. I heard that's okay diving in Austin. I wonder if her husband Steve, no visibility.
Yeah, that's what I had heard. Visibility is...
That's like Canyon Lake and Medina Lake. They're just like, you get in there just to do something with the scuba gear. You don't really get to enjoy the dive. Yeah. I wonder if her husband Steve had an opportunity. It happened to do any of that in when he was joining in the Air Force. I know in the academy they do. You have an opportunity for one of your electives for PE type stuff is to do the pool work for the scuba diving. And so all you have to do is go take your paperwork to a certified instructor and knock out the 4 open water dives and you're done. She'll probably ask. She said, I don't know. So, she's got, what is your dear cup of coffee? Is that what it is? I want to make sure I get it right. I want to do it justice. He isn't here. Is it dear cup of coffee? Yes, she is definitely a fan of coffee. I think she probably needs to get to know Troy because
we need to get together.
Yeah, Troy does the whole thing with Pico. He's partial to the Pico coffee, so he'll do a Twitter post just extolling the virtues of Pico coffee in the morning.
I'm not so much about Pico coffee, but
evidently Lori agrees that they have good coffee. So yeah, check out Dear Cup of Coffee on Facebook, and I think you have some Twitter stuff going too, right? Yes. But and she's running a little contest right now. You can get a Starbucks certificate. You so owe me, Lori.
Oh, Starbucks. Yummy, yummy,
if
yummy.
we can ever get one here, that would be
great. No, I'm you know me, and I've discussed this before. I'm a coffee fanatic. Being in law enforcement for nearly 20 years, it's either you smoke, you dip, or you drink coffee. Well, I didn't like the other two, so I stuck with the coffee.
So you had no choice.
I had no choice, because when you start doing rotating shifts and working night shifts and stuff, you got to do something to stay awake. Well, there you go, black coffee. Although I can't drink it black anymore. But
why? You got something against black coffee?
No, it's just
is that a racial thing?
The thing is, it's just that used to do it to stay awake, and now it just I don't know if it's my age or what, but it upsets my stomach whenever I drink black coffee. I just can't. For some reason I had developed a taste for it, and then all of a sudden I just can't drink it anymore. So, but I'm kind of the coffee. Pico's coffee. I'll have to try that.
Lori's asking, can you drink coffee before a dive? Well, yes, absolutely. As a matter of fact, a lot of people do, and it's a myth to the whole wives' tale about you can't go swimming 30 minutes any sooner than 30 minutes. No. What you want to do is, with everything else, moderation. Just don't overstuff yourself, because what you can experience is a lot of
gas.
You can it'll, because you're going to be diving under pressure typically, that can cause you to start burping a lot, which is not a pleasant experience in a regulator.
It's all right as long as you don't burp anything up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, been there, done that. Lori asks, are there any restrictions on caffeine? Again, I suppose, and I've known divers who seriously down like the Monster or the 5-Hour Energy. Here's the thing, anything that changes your metabolism or alters your blood chemistry can affect, it's not a promise, not a guarantee, but it can affect how your body metabolizes or handles building up of the nitrogen in your system, and how quickly you can release it through regular aspiration. Obviously, you want to be in the best condition, well rested, well hydrated, etc., and not hungry. You don't want. It's not a good idea to dive on an empty stomach for the same reason it's not a good idea to dive on a very full stomach. So if you drink a lot of stuff that has caffeine or alcohol, especially, you get some folks that just toss back the beers the night before, and then they go diving early in the morning. Well, I would think, especially if you're doing some deep diving, that could be an invitation to a higher potential for getting some sort of decompression sickness as a result of coming up. Even though on previous dives, just like that one, you had no issues. No diver is the same diver on the same dive twice. It's like that saying, the same man never crosses the same river twice, because everything is different, even if it's only slightly. So if you introduce exceptional amounts of anything to your system that could change your reaction and capacity, your physiological capacity, you could be inviting a problem. But having said that, we've certainly done our share of sodas and stuff like that and been diving and not had any issues. So that is a great question. See, that's the kind of thing we like having on the podcast, is folks giving us questions or comments like that.
The only thing I can, me being a big coffee drinker, aside from depending on how much coffee you drink, Lori,
Right.
would be the fact that, too much caffeine, of course, causes you to shake a lot. So if you were to, of course, drink a large amount of coffee and maybe have a snack or something, you won't get the shakes. I don't know what the actual effect would be underwater. I mean, I've never, drank like 4 cups of coffee and, on an empty stomach and gone diving, because maybe I ought to try that and see what, maybe we'll get back to you on that one. I'll try it.
We're gonna the next dive. We'll do a test.
We'll do scientific experiments. The effects of coffee and caffeine. Actually, I don't know. I don't think it would really do anything aside from just upset your stomach.
Right.
I mean, that's the only thing I could see. You will be hungry afterwards. I'll give you that much.
So, yeah. Don't worry, Lori. You can drink pretty copious amounts of coffee and you should be okay.
I'm like one of those people, I can't drink coffee, because I won't go to sleep or what. I'll drink like 3 cups of coffee and I'll go to bed like it's nothing, It's just, I just love coffee.
So, Lori, sometime you guys need to maybe work out a vacation thing or something where we can all meet up someplace and maybe do some more diving. I wonder if Steven has actually ever tried it. So if he hasn't, guess what? I'm a certified instructor. I can actually...
Small world. She
was
in school with my sister.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's cool. So... All right, so let me jump back into the pictures here. Okay, sorry, sidelining. No, that's okay. That's the beauty of a podcast. She said, "Sorry for sidelining conversation," but that's the beauty of a live.
Never sideline. Never a sideline.
That's right. Never a quickie, always a longie. Sorry, love at first bite reference there.
I actually have that on DVD.
That's a great movie. Yeah, that's the beauty of a live podcast, and why we like to invite folks to participate in the podcast via our chat rooms, because it enables us to answer those kind of questions, and it just keeps it more. Participation is great. So definitely, Lori, keep those questions and comments coming, and see if Steve would be interested in trying it out. I know the flying restrictions, there's that whole thing, but we've taught a number of pilots out here, and of course you're familiar with how intense that training for the student pilots is, so we're able to work around that too. So real quick, let's grab some, go back into some of the pictures if I can here. So here's just some of the students that were there. This was I thought the shot came out pretty good. They were practicing. They had just finished up their last bit of skills, and they were just doing the kind of the free diving thing there, which was pretty cool.
The visibility looks good there.
Yeah, actually, the visibility was very good. Let me switch out. Wow. Seem to have lost a bunch of pictures for some reason. Well, I thought I was going to show more pictures, but I guess I won't.
It's Microsoft.
No, it's actually this new version of the software.
Oh, did he update it?
Yeah, he was trying to. The guy who wrote the software that I'm using was trying to fix some issues, and I think he actually broke some things because I noticed that now when you load up the pictures and you switch back to live shots like this, it shifts the mode that it's recording in. So I'll have to report that bug to him. That's the neat commercial just popped up. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I hate commercials.
Logistics.
Yeah. Well, it's and of course they want to charge an arm and a leg for you to go commercial free. So maybe if we get to a point where we get some sponsors, I might pay for the full Ustream thing to not have commercials.
But going back to the caffeine, I've drank 3 liters of these back in the day when I was drinking a lot of Coke.
Yeah.
And I went diving about 2 years ago when
right.
Nothing happened, Lori. It was good.
Well, back in the day, I used to drink because I'm a gamer, not nearly as intense a gamer as I used to be, but I would go through 6 20-ounce bottles of Mountain Dew daily.
Oh God!
I'm
not that bad.
Yeah, I stopped that cold turkey because I had issues. yeah. Lori says, "Okay, I remember your love affair with Mountain Dew. That's true. That was like Fred Brockwell. He's head of the Upstagers, founder of the Upstagers. He has that kind of a love affair with his Dr. Pepper. So, yeah."
Dr. Pepper.
So, yep. But now I do like the fake stuff, Mountain Lightning from Walmart or something like that. So
same effect.
Huh?
Works just the same.
Oh, it's a wimpy version of it, but so anyway, yeah, I've not had any issues there. But anyway, back to Balmorhea. The beauty of Balmorhea is it's a nice drive there. It's a beautiful area at the foot of the Davis Mountains. It's easy swimming and diving. It's protected. There's no lifeguards, but you've got so many people there. There's especially if you've got a bunch of scuba training going on, you have rescue diver qualified people there, so they're ready to help you out at a moment's notice.
I'm pretty sure if we see somebody dropping down underneath the water with no scuba gear, I think that'd be a sign something's wrong, and we grab that person.
Oh, speaking of something wrong, and I mentioned this on last week's podcast, but I just had to share this with you, kind of get your take on it. Tara and I are cruising along from the graded end of the pool, headed towards the first corner where all the students were gathered working on stuff. And of course, that's where the smaller diving board is. Mm-hmm. So we're cruising along. And
you're talking about the human turtle?
Yeah. Yes. I look up to my left, because I look for everything, because I'm always looking for the turtle.
Mm-hmm.
Or one of the
turtles.
You found
it.
I did, but it wasn't what I was expecting. I look up to my left, and at the surface, there's this 20-something guy who's just floating there, and all of a sudden, he dropped trowel and was peeing in the water. And so I'm like, you do the double take because you just can't believe that's what you're seeing. And I'm like, you've got to be. I mean, I actually gasped through the regulator. I was like, what?
Okay. Now, I know he dropped his trousers, but how do you know he was peeing? Maybe he just did it just to kind of get your attention.
No. The way he pulled the front of his pants, his trunks down, he was clearly relieving himself. And then he kind of like shook. To clear, so when he pulled his suit back up, it would not get the urine in the suit. I'm like, and then he hops out of the water. I'm like, oh, too late now, dude. I'm like, what would make you think it's smart to do this in an area where there's 30+ divers swimming around, so nobody on the surface sees you, but you got 30 divers down below, going, no flipping way. Unreal.
Oh man, I so would have popped up above the water and started laughing.
I was tempted to, but Tara was already starting to move ahead of me because I had slowed down because I was like, "What?" So yeah, let that be a lesson.
In your relentless pursuit for the turtle, you found.
I found a human turtle. It was very, very bad. So, all right, so. Anyway, so you have a protected area. It's great picnic area. You've got cabins you can stay at. You've got camping sites that you can get with or without electricity and water. Of course, we picked one. All the ones we reserved were with electricity and water, so you can plug right in. So we can plug our trailer in and have electricity to juice up cell phones and computers and all that stuff. Run blow dryers or air conditioners or
blow dryers.
Everything. So you don't have to rough it too bad out there. And then, of course, if you just like the straight tent camping thing, you got that. And all the campsites have little pavilions, covered picnic areas. So really nice. They got the little spring-fed canals there by the cabin. So if you get your cabins soon enough in the season, you those are pretty nice. They're kind of bare as far as they're no frills cabins, but if you're not the type that likes to sleep outside, they're great. They're great for that. Especially if you don't want to spend what you'd have to spend in Balmorhea town itself at the Soho. I will say it correctly. The Soho Flojo.
Oso Flojo.
Oso Flojo. I call it the Lhasa Apso because it just sounds funnier. And we're going to say it the Lhasa Apso.
The Oso Flojo is
the lazy bear.
It's a lazy bear.
Which I understand is actually it's really more of a slang rather than the actual literal.
Right. It's not the proper Spanish. And we found that out. Siri busted that one.
Yeah.
But
and so did Windows Phone too.
The
translator said what?
Yeah, the translator on the phone.
I was like, okay, then that's not exactly.
Yeah, but Jeff was like, yeah, what Oso Flojo, and it just said it real quick. But
Lori just tweeted the podcast. I like it. Thanks. Mea culpa. Yes, Clarice.
Yeah, thanks, Lori.
So yeah, so even that is a good place to stay, and they definitely cater to the divers. But
now the rooms there are actually very lavish compared to the ones in Balmorhea. They had they got like, I guess they just remodeled the rooms or something, so they're a little newer. The showers are a lot nicer. You pay a little bit more though.
Yeah,
you're gonna pay a little bit more for it. And, of course, right next door, or should I say, kind of attached to it, I believe the owners of the Oso Flojo have a Mexican restaurant or a restaurant there that you can actually go and get tacos. And
that's right.
They got hamburgers and things like that. So they're open. They have the hours there. So, of course, you don't eat for free if you stay at the motel. You still got to pay for the food. But, I mean, it's right there. You can just walk across.
So it's definitely worth the trip. It's a great way to relax, even if you don't dive. It's just relaxing throughout the lawn chairs and the little tent or whatever.
Right. There's been times when we've gone to where I'll do diving like on Friday, and I'll do it early Saturday, and then the rest of the afternoon on Saturday, I really I kind of just want to lounge, and I don't want to dive anymore. I just kind of want to relax because the scenery is nice, the climate is great. People like, one time I think you asked me, well, you're not going to dive anymore. It's like, no, you go ahead, and
you go on without me.
You go ahead without me. I just wanted to relax, and it's a great place to just do that.
Yeah. So it's good family time. Get there early and enjoy a great weekend. And if you're there for a longer weekend, and you get a chance to continue on the back road there, through a gorgeous canyon drive to Fort Davis. They've got a couple of really good restaurants there, and you can check out the observatory and that kind of stuff. So it's just a beautiful area, and it's a little bit more temperate. So because it is at 3,000 feet, at this point the nighttime got pretty chilly. Mm-hmm. I actually had to crawl inside the sleeping bag.
It always I mean, I've never camped there. We always get a cabin, but it does get cool in the evenings.
Yep.
Yeah.
And even when you go like later in the year, we've done the night dive, a real night dive where we had, what was it, like 10 or 15 divers in the water, and we got out, and there was a little bit of a breeze, and everybody was just like, it was cold getting out.
Can't be as cold as in January when we did this.
Oh, no, gosh. No. Lori's asking again where Balmorhea is. It is, if it's 45 minutes due west on I-10 from Fort Stockton. And then you'll see a Balmorhea Toyavale exit, and just peel off of that, and that's another 4 miles to the town and then to the state park. Coming from San Antonio,
about another mile from town?
From town, yeah. So basically, if you're coming from San Antonio, you just follow I-10 all the way past Fort Stockton to the Balmorhea State Park exit. If you're coming from Del Rio, you would, I think the best route, we've gone straight up through San Angelo, and it actually took us an extra hour to go that route, even though you get more I-10 time. But we took 90 up to Sanderson, then 285 up to Fort Stockton, and then got on I-10 from there, so it's another 45 minutes, and then you're taking the exit to Balmorhea. So it's a great trip.
You can also go through Alpine.
Yep.
But
which that would take us another long way around.
It's a little more scenic, but if you have a vehicle that's not really good on gas, you'd be, because there's nothing out there. Yeah. You know, there's really nothing out there. So I don't know.
Well, even pulling the trailer, we were able to easily make Fort Stockton without worrying about gas.
Oh,
I mean, easily, because the rodeo 6-cylinder gets without any added weight can do a trip to San Antonio back on 1 tank of gas, no issue. And that's 300 miles. So you're not even quite that, even going to Fort Stockton. So we're easily, and we just on the safe side, because knowing now that there's a good chance that there may be no way to buy anything in Balmorhea, including gas. We just gas up in Fort Stockton just so that we can make the rest of the 45 minutes there and back to Fort Stockton.
I'm going to tell you, now that you brought up the gas, when Dominic and I would go...
I try not to bring up the gas.
Gosh. You don't want to bring up the gas, Rob. Especially after Rudy's.
No
anyway, talking about gas, the automobile gas.
Yeah.
If you got to put gas at the gas station there in Balmorhea...
Oof.
Oh my gosh!
Do you have a spare arm and a leg?
Yeah,
it is huge, big price difference.
I mean, if you guys are complaining about gas prices here in town, or here in civilization, try to imagine the only gas station with gas in a small little rural town in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, you
can charge pretty much anything you want, and that's what they do.
They have you under their control. Speaking of which, is real quick as we get ready to part, we're a little late here. I noticed gas prices are starting to drop precipitously. I saw somebody posting on Facebook that I guess in one of the Carolinas or someplace it's $2.61 a gallon.
I've noticed
what?
Yeah, I've noticed that in certain states, gas is still high. Considering what we pay here in Texas, they're paying Gosh, I don't remember what it is, but they're paying a lot more than what we're paying here in Texas. But
we're still paying way over $3 now.
Wait. We're three. What are we? 326. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I don't know. I had a.
Yeah, this place had $2.61. I'm like, golly, that's pushing $1 difference in price. I was like, come on, we've got all the refineries here in Texas. What is up with that?
Yeah. What really gets me mad is when you see what they're paying for fuel in Egypt.
Lori says, remember when it was 102? Yes, I do remember $1 a gallon. I remember screaming when it was starting to creep over $2. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
No. I remember when it was 96 cents.
Okay, and I'm now showing my age. Of course, I was not obviously driving at that point, but I remember my dad buying gasoline at 75 cents a gallon.
Okay, I don't remember that, but I remember when I used to have to go to the store to buy gas for the lawnmower, and I'd be walking with a little gas can, and it was 96 cents.
Man, those were the days.
Yeah, what happened to those days?
No kidding. Just to have $1, being able to fill my tank for less than $20, it'd be great. That cost me $60. It's insane. Well, that's 99 cents. Well, that just about wraps it up for this week. Let's see. I've got class next weekend. Yep, class next weekend. So we may be running the podcast a little bit later on Saturday, but the plan is still to do it. We'll just have to make sure our show prep is well ahead.
Right.
I've only got the one student, unless the other one that was supposed to be going through it gives me a call this week to say he's going to be able to make it. So I shouldn't run too late, which will be good. But we'll just play it by ear. So just check if you're subscribing to the Ustream channel, or you're following us in the Dive Club website or Dive Club Facebook page, which is even better. We'll post for sure if we're going to nail our regular time, which is normally Saturdays at 8 p.m. Central. But we'll be flexible since we'll be teaching a scuba class. So we'll be adding to the collective, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So
the collective.
And thank you so much, Lori.
Resistance
thanks
is
for
futile.
Yeah, that's right. It is futile. Lori says, thanks for having me. You all are great. Awesome show. Well, we're definitely glad to have you on board.
Thank you, Lori.
Anytime you want to drop in on the podcast. And if the guy who writes this software that this podcast is working with can get the Skype issue down, love to have you Skype into the show.
Mm-hmm.
It sort of works, but I noticed that the person that's on the other end of Skype, I can see everything, and the people watching the show can see everything, but they only get the audio.
Yeah, we tried it. We've been playing with it, but still not. I get no visual, but I can hear everything.
Lori says, what? I mean, I have to put on makeup? Well, you can always put a filter on your webcam. Heck, we're not even using makeup, and we've got all the bright lights on us.
Yeah.
Of course, we get enough natural color from spending so much time out on the lake. So.
The lake,
yeah. So, thanks again, Lori, for joining us, and we thank all of you who happen to be lurkers out there watching. And if you catch us on YouTube afterward, we upload the show to YouTube and Vimeo after the show's done. So, by all means, if you have some ideas or questions that you want to post to us, we always invite those. And I announced on Facebook I'm kind of toying with the idea of expanding production to do other types of podcasts. So, they'd be co-hosted type things. So, kind of like along the lines of the Twit network, the This Week in Tech, because they have a number of different shows. They're typically all related, but I feel I can expand out into a number of things. And so some folks have already started tossing out some ideas as far as different podcasts. So I'm kind of excited about what I might be able to do with that. Just another service we provide here in the little town of Del Rio, Texas.
I'd like to get in on a tech one. That would be interesting.
Oh, and that's all we don't talk tech enough here. I can just see the battle. We'd be like John C. Dvorak.
It would be good though, because I'm pro Mac and he's pro PC. So it would be an interesting podcast.
We'd have to put a cage up so we did throw stuff at each other.
Chicken wire.
That's right.
I'd be throwing my bottle of Coke at you.
Okay, Lori, your cool level just dropped in my eye. She says apple.
Apple. I'm telling you, that's the way to go.
No,
yep,
never,
Linux.
Never.
More stable operating system. That's all I got to say.
It is, but nobody supports it. That's the problem.
That's why it's perfect. Nobody knows how to work it.
All right, so that completes another episode. We thank you for joining us, and we look forward to you joining you next week on another episode of Two Guys Who Dive.